Good morning. Welcome to Energy Works. Today we're talking about pain serves a purpose. Of course, we don't like pain, any of us, and pain can be very hard to take, whether it's physical pain or emotional pain, that it is very hard. And pain is often a very wearing thing, like to be in pain all the time for some people is hard, and many people live with pain and have to rise above it, and it takes a lot of energy to do that. So what can we do to help ourselves understand the purpose of the pain? Because often the pain is there to help us grow in some way, or to point our mind to some part of our body that has dense energy stored there, or bad memories or difficult times can all be stored in different parts of our body. It can be hard to deal with those things. So I wanted to clear energy around this today, because we all have pain of some sort. And I guess with that pain often goes what we say to ourselves about the pain, or how we might talk badly to ourselves about why we have pain or what the pain is about. And sometimes we just don't want the pain. Sometimes we just don't want to look at what the pain is teaching us or what's hiding in the pain. But if we do that, we are failing to take the opportunity to learn from whatever that difficulty is. So I guess if we, as people get on the call this morning, where is your pain? What part of your body calls you? What part of your body talks to you and tells you, I'm not okay? And, we've mentioned many times that there are books that talk about what the pain is representing. So, there's things like Feelings Buried Alive Never Die, The Secret Language of Your Body, Louise Hay. There's many books that talk about those things. And, these things help us to grow and learn and to decipher, because it's really like, deciphering what is the pain about. And, we all have health challenges, or whether they're physical health or mental health, emotional health, all those things serve as a purpose. But, it is hard for us at times to cope with whatever it is that shows up. All right. And if I test, I'm okay with my pain, that's actually strong. I'm okay without my pain, that's weak. It's interesting, isn't it? So sometimes we need our pain. All right. So generational here. Dad's side of the family, but the women on that side of the family. And we can have stuck emotions. Just looking up some emotions. Holding on to an old concept. So sometimes old concepts can be things like, Catherine's got a great suggestion there. She says sometimes it's a form of self-punishment subconsciously. Yes, it can be a self-punishment. Sometimes it's a way to get attention. In some families, there will be one child that has a chronic physical problem, and that child will take more of the family's energy and effort. And so the other children will feel that they need to be sick to get attention, because that's the way that it happens in their family. And it's almost like we're taught to be sick to get what we need. So that's not a healthy way to be taught. But, our families at the time are doing the best that they can, and we have the opportunity to rewrite that story and to use the pain in a good way to help us grow and learn. So, as I mentioned earlier, where is the pain in your body, or is it in your mind? What part of you is causing you the most difficulty at this point in time? What is the part that's trying to teach you something? All right, so I'm going to go into the heart chakra while we wait for comments. And I'm going to use Jenny Rosengren's book, Over 1,000 Categorized Positive and Negative Beliefs. All right, so what's coming up here is resentment about dysfunctional tribal beliefs regarding love. And I guess this is what we're talking about anyway, isn't it? Dysfunctional tribal beliefs. Okay. All right, so Sowen's mentioned courage. Thank you, Sowen. And Leela's mentioned inflammation. Yeah. All right. And let's say there's another affirmation that comes up here. My spiritual growth is independent of others. And sometimes we kind of have to go it alone. Sometimes our tribe's a little behind us, or we have to lead in a certain area, and that can be hard. All right, so Susanna's mentioned intestines, not able to rest fully during the night. That's very tiring, isn't it? And we need good sleep because that's when our body recharges and repairs. All right, so there's a generational component to this. Dad's side are the men. Okay. All right, age 2 comes up for the sleep. I think it's very hard. Oh, yeah, Catherine's mentioned bladder during the night. There we go. Now, I don't know if you've ever looked at a meridian clock, but it's a 24-hour clock, and it's a bit like a relay race, and one meridian hands the baton to another, and it's like the energy goes around that way. This isn't the best picture, but there will be something. Okay, so you can see that if we look around the middle area, that's lung and large intestine. Now, if you go directly opposite to the lung is the bladder. So when the lung is at its highest energy, then the bladder is at its lowest energy. And you can see then before lung is liver and after lung is large intestine. So it's like the bladder meridian, when it's at its lowest, of course, won't have its best function. And so then if the lung is having a problem, then the bladder is more likely to talk at that time, the opposite time during lung time. So probably the problem may be in the lungs. So if we talk about, and I don't know if you've ever heard of Emotion Code, but Bradley Nelson is the man that wrote Emotion Code, and he also has Body Code. He has a wonderful course, and he has categorized different emotions with different organs. So you can see lung and colon there. We've got crying, discouragement, rejection, sadness, sorrow, confusion, defensiveness, grief, self-abuse, and stubbornness. So those feelings can be an issue stuck in the lungs. So the sadness or the feelings that are stuck in our lungs can be the issue. So it could be breathing that's the problem, Catherine, but it could also be the unexpressed emotions that are stuck in our body. What is the pain? And, is it that our bladder wakes us up, or is it that we wake up and then we're awake and we want to empty our bladder? All right, and we're going to go now into the solar plexus chakra. So the solar plexus chakra is also about our power, bringing things to fruition. Our breathing can be a way to help our body release the emotions, like lots of deep breathing, or some people actually go and do courses for breath work to help themselves release the things that are stuck in their body. And, I had one patient that was doing that, and she had this very strong stabbing pain in the back of her lung, I guess, come up, and, the lady that was teaching the course came and held that part for her, and she was able to cry and release some of the things. So, often there are things stuck within our body from the past that we don't realise or may need to be acknowledged. It might be inner child stuff, the little child needs a hug or someone to talk to her or him. All right, this is an affirmation here. I'm excited about all the possibilities that lay before me. So we don't usually get very excited about having pain or difficulties come up, but if we could change the perspective a little and think about, okay, so this is the next chapter of things to help myself lead a happy, healthier life. If this is the thing that next comes up that's preventing me from moving forward, okay, now you have my attention and I'm ready to face whatever this problem means. And so this is often the case. So we need to be excited sometimes about what is it that our body's presenting to us. This is the next great leap in learning and growth. I'm ready. All right. So what's coming up in the solar plexus chakra is seeing yourself as powerless. And being in pain, we might feel a little powerless and unable to move. But if we can see past that pain and to see what that represents for us and, where we're stuck, then we can be less frightened of the pain and more able to address why we have the pain. All right. And let's say I use my power with wisdom. So I think here about I had a skin, eczema on my skin flare up quite badly a couple of years ago, and ended up on a lot of my body, and it came down to a lot of self-hate. And I guess you can't hate on yourself so badly without causing damage to your body or your mind or your energy field. And so my hating on myself was the habit that I had. And when things went wrong, I would blame myself, and I would take it on as me being the problem. And sometimes I was the problem, but sometimes I was not, and I was taking that on. So have you done that in your life? Have you hated on yourself, or perhaps been sad and not been able to express the sadness that you feel in your body? All right, another affirmation. I do things in the right way and time for me. I'm worthy of love, kindness, and respect regardless of what I have done. And, there will be people that will criticize us. There will be people that don't like how we're doing our life, or think that we can do it better or faster or in their way. But we have to do things in the way that works for us and in the timing that works for us, and learn to show ourselves love. All right, I'm able to see past my weaknesses and allow them to become my strengths. And I guess this is the point of pain, isn't it? The things that we struggle with are in pain with are the opportunity for ourselves to become strong. All right, so more feelings stuck in the body affecting the sleep. So maybe before bed is a good time to journal, to express some of the things that are stuck in our body. All right, let's use an oil here. So rose oil. Now, rose oil is one of the highest vibration oils, and it represents the love of the divine. So if we are children of our heavenly parents, we are divine. And we may not always see our divinity, and we may not always see the divinity in our problems. All right, with an open, softened heart, my anger is soothed and my fear and anxiety are quelled. This is from Kim Redmond Futrell's book of Essential Oil Affirmations. I recognize the essential need for divine grace and intervention in all our healing, experiencing a deeper sense of belonging. All right, so how do we not belong? What's stopping you from belonging? All right, activating my crown chakra, I recognize the divine within me. So we have to realize that we are divine people having a physical experience at this point in time. All right, so let's go now into the brow chakra. Okay, now I haven't had any comments for a while, so just checking that people are, here we go. All right, Catherine's mentioned it's important to recognize the weakness of mortality and not beat up on ourselves constantly. Hard for perfectionists, but the key is humility in seeking God's help. I think it's very true, and sometimes our pain is a way to be humbled. When you're in pain, you can't be strutting around like a peacock. You have to resort to going to your knees sometimes and asking and pleading for help. So the brow chakra is about following your intuition and trusting what you feel is the right thing. And, even if people laugh at you or they don't like what you do, that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. You have to trust what you feel is right for you. All right, I rely on my internal counsel. And of course, we can check in with divine counsel to help our internal counsel. My mind is calm and clear. I'm confident in my intelligence. And we tend to think of intelligence perhaps as being book smart, but intelligence can be emotional intelligence as well, and the ability to see past people's problems or see past our own problems. She said, it's not my pain, but my weakness and my condition that has truly humbled me and realised I need to rely on him. Yeah, I think this is what happens to each of us as we have pain or problem or suffering of some sort. We are forced to rely on divine help. So feelings affecting our sixth chakra. All right, the belief of being not good enough. I remember a funny quote. It was a lesson I taught for kids, a church lesson. And it was a little boy that said, God never made no junk. So we have to remember that we are not junk, that we are not rubbish or broken or damaged. Maybe the beliefs about ourselves are damaged, but we are not damaged. We are perfectly learning through our physical experiences, our physical pain, to be the best person that we can be. And now we're going to go into the crown chakra. All right, so what affects the crown chakra is disconnection to the divine within. So we're not hearing what we need to hear through inspiration. All right, feeling the need to protect yourself from others. All right, chronic exhaustion's coming up. Okay, myrrh oil. So myrrh oil is about mothers, and it's about being connected to Mother Earth. All right, feelings of trust are replaced with feelings of fear and a belief that the world is unsafe. So we can have that belief that things are not safe or are not right, or that, we're not going to be okay. So myrrh assists individuals in letting go of fear. So if you're feeling fear, and, when we're in pain, we can feel fear because we can think that the pain's not going to end, or that, this is what we're going to be stuck with for the rest of our lives. So myrrh rekindles trust within the soul. As the individual learns once again to live in trust, confidence in the goodness of life returns and the soul feels safe and more at home. So you might use myrrh on your feet perhaps to help ground you and to help you to connect to Mother Earth, and, actually go outside and put your feet on the earth. If it's snowing and you can't go outside, hold your pot plant. Or you can buy grounding mats and use those in your bed or when you sit down. All right, so also you could use myrrh if you're feeling malnourished. So this could be physically malnourished, or it could be emotionally malnourished. Are you not feeding your emotional self or your spiritual self? Do you have spiritual malnourishment? So, all right, I bridge any gaps and heal any disturbance to my mother-child bond, whether to my earthly mother or Mother Earth. And we could also add to our heavenly mother. I feel the love and nurturing presence of Mother in my tranquil solitude. I replace my feelings of fear and my belief that the world is an unsafe place with trust and faith that I am divinely protected and guided. And even though we have some horrendous experiences that we wouldn't wish on anyone, these experiences are often the only way we could learn to have the strength and the courage needed for later trials and challenges that will come later in our life. And we need the previous experiences of difficulty to give us the needed strength. All right, so what's stuck here is unable to repair my thoughts or collect any new ideas. So what's the loop that's stuck in your head? What are you saying to yourself? What can you not get past right now? Are you measuring yourself on pain? Are you measuring yourself on dysfunction? Are you measuring yourself on the things that are not working in your life right now? Failing to see that this is the perfect storm that is springboarding you to change. All right, I allow others to support me in times of need. Sometimes that's hard. Sometimes it's hard to ask for help. Sometimes it's hard to accept help. Sometimes it's hard to not feel that you are broken because you need help, or that you're less than because you need help. All right. We may be called to listen to other people. So this affirmation is, I love listening to others. The thing I find is often different patients or clients will have similar problems to mine, and it's like I'm staring at myself and having to give myself guidance through another person. So, the people around us that have problems are there for a reason. So Leela's mentioned courage to speak up against injustices. Yeah, that's very important. There's a saying, isn't there? Silence isn't always golden. Sometimes it's yellow. And Jenny's mentioned we sometimes forget that others can help, especially if you're an independent person. Yes, and for myself, I can think sometimes that that's a weakness to need help. But I think allowing someone to help us really forges a bond. It allows the other person to feel that they can make a difference, and it allows us to accept help. So we need each other, and we need to feel that other people understand us, and we need to understand others that may have similar problems. And sometimes people have problems that we really, really dislike and find it hard to look at. Sometimes, people might have mental health problems that are very confronting, and we can, dislike to look at that or be around that. So it's like learning to see past the problem and to see who that person really is underneath. Accepting the worth of a soul. The scripture comes to mind, the worth of souls is great in the eyes of the Lord. So it's like seeing people as divinity sees them, seeing past the problem, seeing the beauty of the problem to help that person become their most divine self. I accept my body's signals in perfect harmony and rhythm. So pain is a signal of dysfunction sometimes. So what function needs correcting? What part of our body are we ignoring? What part is not being treated with love and respect? All right, now we're going into the aura. All right, the third layer of the aura, which is the mental body, which is about thoughts and ideas. So sometimes thoughts and ideas can be stuck. So we can have tears in our aura, and we can leak energy through these tears. So a female can cause a tear. And the feeling of stubbornness is stuck in there. So we can be stubborn to forgive, or we can be stubborn with ourselves. So Jenny's mentioned her eyes today. They're feeling irritated. Too much screen time and lack of sleep. So let's use Ina Siegel's book and look up eyes. So this is from Ina Siegel. She said, not liking what you are seeing in your environment, suspicious of people and events, seeing obstacles and limitations, wanting things to be different, fixation on aging, seeing life from a negative point of view, feeling stuck, seeing things only from one direction or perspective, fearful of the future, wanting what others have. So, sometimes our eyes are telling us that we're not liking what we're seeing, or we're not happy to allow that to happen. Sometimes we can be brought down by entities or by, negative spiritual factors. So it's important to make your divine connection, make connection with your Heavenly Father and Heavenly Mother, that you can feel their love and to be full of love, so that anything negative or spiritually bad will not be happy to stay in that feeling of love. Okay. All right, we're going into one of the higher chakras now. Catherine's mentioned we don't like what we were seeing happen right now in our society. These are scary times. It's very true. They are scary times. And, the previous trials we've had in our lives are there to have given us strength to deal with these times right now. And we are growing through these difficult times for further times that will come. And again, I think it's vital that we have that divine connection to be guided in how best to navigate these difficult times. So let's say I believe I can get through this. And this being the pain, the difficulty in society, whatever it is that you want to put in there. So a generational component here from Dad's side of the family and the men, and some stuck emotions here in our genes. All right, so what's in our genes is unresolved negativity. And sometimes when we're going through a very bad patch, we're actually clearing a lot of generational rubbish from our family tree, and we're actually doing great service. And we may see ourselves as a failure, that we're not doing anything or not being okay. And whereas we really are doing great work that we are unaware of. All right, so let's go into the 10th chakra. So the 10th chakra is like our connection to the sun and the solar system. It's about living your life's purpose and experiencing and incorporating the entirety of one's experience, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Vitamin D deficiency is coming up here. Can you get yourself out in the sun to get some vitamin D? And if you can't, can you take some vitamin D? Adrenal fatigue is coming here too. And, when you feel tired and worn out like that, I think to go and lie in the sun just for a little time would actually recharge your power packs a little. give you time to meditate a little or just relax. All right, the feeling that we always need to be striving, which there's nothing wrong with striving and improving, but if we can never feel satisfied, or we can never feel a sense of accomplishment, or we can't look back and see how much we've grown or made improvements, then that's very self-defeating, and then we just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, often past our limit. All right, what's coming up here to help our 10th chakra as well is enjoying seasonal activities. So, this is a beautiful time of year to go for a bike ride. All right, also what's coming up here is a balance of rest and play. And we might use some console oil to console ourselves with the difficulties of the times of what we're seeing and experiencing. So console eases one's burdens, assists in experiencing a serene heart and mind, and guides individuals toward emotional rest. So if you're having trouble to be calm and peaceful and to rest, then use your console. You might want to diffuse it at night so that you can feel comforted and content, restful, whole, serene. All right, there's a generational component to this inability to be able to be peaceful. From mum's side of the family, mum's dad's side, and the men. All right, also part of our energy field called the radiant circuits. So radiant circuits are like the inner mum. They're a circuit that whenever one system is down, that the inner mum will take care of that and fill in the gaps. So they're like spare fuses. All right, I forgive my mother for her mistakes. I live within my healthy limits. So there are some people, when they come and have a treatment, it's like their brain is unable to do two things at once. And it's like a fuse that's blown. So it's like they're living past the limit of their body and their mind and their energy field. So it's like learning when we have to say no, or it's too much, or things need to be a little bit different. Okay. So now at the beginning we said I'm okay without my pain, and that was weak. But now if I say I'm okay without my pain, it's strong. So that's good. I am courageous. I have all the courage I need. I easily sleep. I allow myself to sleep. It's safe to sleep. Sleep comes easily to me. I sleep all night. They're all strong. Inflammation. So if I say I'm okay without my inflammation, that's weak. And that goes to the 12th chakra, which is like the highest chakra. It's like the galactic chakra. Sorry, going higher once again, universal chakra. And so what can come up here is schizophrenia or hypochondria. So our brain can have inflammation. So helichrysum oil could be helpful here. Helichrysum is the oil for pain, physical pain or emotional pain. I love this affirmation. This is from Kim's book, The Essential Oil Affirmations. I attend to my pain signals and release the underlying causes quickly and effortlessly. Isn't that beautiful? All right, I embrace the sun's energy of joy and fervour to generate my own hope for living. So again, that getting out in the sun. My ability to persevere through these physical difficulties enables my spirit to progress to higher levels of consciousness. So, if we can see that this pain that we're suffering right now, whether it's physical, emotional, or spiritual, is there to help us. Now, sometimes inflammation is caused by feelings. And we know that if we eat, bad food, sugar, bad oils, highly processed grains, those things can lead to inflammation in our body. But equally important are our feelings. So our inflammatory feelings can also cause inflammation in our body. So, what thoughts are inflaming you right now? What thoughts are preventing you from having that divine intervention? Because even in difficult times where, like we are in the world right now, and we can be very angry about the loss of freedoms and the injustices and the things that are incorrect, we need to maintain our divine connection to know how to navigate these difficult times. So we cannot afford to lose that divine connection. It's got to become the most important thing that we cling to. and addressing our inflammatory thoughts and, releasing if it's a generational pattern or if it's something in your childhood or earlier in your life, releasing what's behind there to help us let go of that inflammation in our brain. Also, for some people, they store the inflammation in their gut. So your small intestine or your large intestine can become inflamed also from thoughts or foods or feelings. So in this case, in the intestines are reacting to feelings. So grief, there's grief hiding in our bowel. And if we say I'm okay without my grief, that's weak. So something in our timeline, age 2, age 7, age 10. All right. Isn't there any problem to synthesize vitamin D? Susanna, that's probably a very good question, and I don't know the answer to that. So, are there any people that know the answer? Do we need other vitamins in order for this to be possible? I'm thinking vitamin C and possibly vitamin E. So coming up in the vitamin D problem is a generational problem. Dad's side, dad's side, and the men. I guess, in times past, some people were miners and they had no sun. They had to go down in the ground for, hours and hours and didn't get to see the sun at all. Okay, some sort of bacteria. So bacteria in the stomach, which can affect, I guess, our ability to digest the vitamin D if we're taking it. Again, age 2 hiding under that. All right. Okay, thank you. So just checking in with people, how they're feeling, if there's any change or not, or if you need further help, you can book a clarity call, or you go to www.calendly.com/Tanya Ormsby /clarity call, and it's a free call just to check in where you're at. Or if you're ready to go in a bit deeper, you can go to a1health.com.au and book an appointment where we do a bit deeper session and, begin your journey to address your pain and to address the things that are stuck or preventing you being fearful or in pain or dysfunctional. Thanks, everyone. Okay, I hope you have a great day. Oh, for those that are in Sydney, we're having a get-together this Saturday at A1 Health. So you're welcome to come, bring a plate if you like. Healthy food, please. And we will chat and clear energy and socialise just a little. All right, hope you have a beautiful day and that you keep shining and being who you are. Thank you.